Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today's project, we're going to be mounting the microwave up in this area right here. Now, as you remember from my previous videos, we did some drywall work back here. We took off some older tile that was down in here. And now before you put the tile back on, we're going to mount our microwave up inside this space here. All right, so what we did first is we got our template that comes with just about every microwave you buy. It has a wall-mounted template, and it also has a template such as this. And this template goes up underneath the bottom like this here, up underneath here. But I'll get this put in place, and then I'll show you what I mean. Obviously, it tells you right on it which way is the wall and which way is the right side of the cabinet. Right being when you're facing the cabinet, it's on the right side. All right, so we're going to mount this one up inside here. And this will actually give you the location of where you're going to drill the holes in the cabinet to mount the screws that will secure the microwave up to the upper cabinet. So we're going to have this hole, and we're going to have another hole on the other side right here. And of course, we're going to drill out here for our extension cord or the plug to go up into the cabinet so we can plug it in to power it up. Now the wall bracket itself has got to be mounted on, and we have to put this piece here on the wall right here so that we know exactly where to mount it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to bring this up here where it's going to be situated, and we're going to mount it, tape it to the wall so that we can actually mark where our plate is going to go on the bottom right here, and we're going to put bolts through it to bolt it in. Now we want to always try to catch at least 2 studs in the wall when you're putting a microwave on this, like this one in here. As we can tell, this is one stud right here, and this is the other stud right here. So we know exactly where our studs are located, and that's where we're going to be screwing the bracket into it. And we are going to use what they gave you, toggle bolts. They gave us 2 toggle bolts to use as well. We're probably going to use 1. We may use 2. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to follow the directions, and it says on here to trim the rear wall template along the dotted line. So we're going to trim it along the dotted line so it fits in there properly. I'm going to tape it on the wall, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how we're going to put that bracket on the wall. But in the meantime, let's take a walk into the garage, and I'm going to show you what kind of tools you're going to need to mount this bracket and then to mount the microwave up onto the bottom of the wall and then up onto the cabinet. All right, so let's go in the garage. Let's see what kind of tools we need, and we're going to get started. Okay, here's an example of what kind of tools you're going to need. Now, of course, you're going to need a scissor just to cut out the template. We're going to need a pencil. We're going to need a set of drill bits. We're going to need a drill. We're going to need something to measure so we have the correct locations for everything. We are going to use the electric drill to screw the screws in. We're probably going to need a stud finder, maybe a couple of screwdrivers, a hammer, some tape, a square such as this. Doesn't have to be this specific one, but a square like that. 2 different size. And then we're going to have 2 different size levels. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use, but we have them here for just in case when we're ready to actually do it. All right, so let's cut the template out. Let's put it up on the wall, and we'll continue with that. Okay, next we have our template mounted on the wall right here. We took our stud finder. Brought it up in here, turned it on, and we located exactly where the studs start and where the stud ends. And we put a mark here and here. We did the same thing over here. We marked where the stud is located here, and now we know the corresponding holes up the top right here on the plate that we're going to mount on the wall. We know exactly where we have to put the screws in order to catch the stud inside the wall. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this, we're going to put it onto that line right there. We're going to put it up in here, just exactly as it belongs, just like this. We are then going to take our level, put our level either under it or over it, and make sure that it lines up exactly level on that line right there. Okay, it's exactly where it belongs. Now we know our stud is there and there, so we're going to put a small mark right here. And we're going to put another small mark right there. And that is where it's going to go, here and here. So we're going to drill 2 small little pilot holes to make sure we hit the stud exactly where we want it. Then we're going to come in here. We're going to put this on here, just like this. We're going to locate inside the hollow point of the wall, because here we have a stud. Right here, there's a stud. There's nothing here, and there's nothing there. We're going to drill a hole in the center between this and this. We're going to put in here one of the supports that was supplied with the unit itself. So we're going to put one in here, and then we're going to come in here and we're going to put one over here on the other end as well. All right, so let me drill those holes, get them in the wall, and then we'll come back and we'll mount this bracket on there. All right. Okay, now that we have our marks here, we're going to come in here, we're going to pre-drill the holes. Remember, this is the one that's going directly into the stud, and this is the other one going in the stud. These are where it's going to be the drywall anchors right here. As you can see, I marked it with an A so I know which one is which. So now we're going to come in here and let's pre-drill that hole. We're going to use a 3/16 drill bit, and we're just going to drill it until we hit into the stud. We'll do the exact same thing on the other one, which is right here into the stud. Okay, so now we hit of all places to hit a drywall screw, there's a screw right there. So we're going to move it down to this area here, which is still going to be within the stud. And we're going to drill a small pilot hole right in here. Okay, so that's the one for the stud. This is the other for the stud. These are going to be the anchors. So we're going to put a small pilot hole here as well. And then we're going to drill this hole out to about a 1/2 inch so that we could fit the anchor in the wall. Okay, so now we know where our screws are going to go into the stud and our anchors are going to go in here. Next, we're going to go up top, right up here. We have our template underneath the cabinet. We're going to drill a 1/2 inch, or I should say a 3/8 inch hole through here and through here. And once we have those holes drilled, we're going to take all this paper down, and then we'll make these holes a little bit bigger to accommodate the drywall anchor that we're going to install. Now, just so you know, here is where the electrical cord is going to go. I actually cut that already up into the top, but I'll show you that once I take this paper down. All right, so let me drill these out, and then we'll come right back. Okay, so now we are going to come in here. We're going to drill the bigger hole to accommodate the drywall anchor that's going to go in there. We're going to drill it about a 1/2 inch because that should accommodate the anchor. Okay, so now once that's drilled, we are going to take our anchor, and this is the way that this anchor here actually works. You take these, you push these wings down, and you push it through that hole. When it goes on the other side, these wings pop open like that, and then when you tighten this up, these wings pull tight against the drywall on the inside, and it'll keep it from moving. But before you do that, you need to put it through the bracket that's going to be mounted on the wall first. So what we're going to do now is we're going to mark where on the wall where the anchors are going to go, and one is going to go here and the other is going to go here. Okay, then what we do is you take this, put it through here like that, screw this piece onto the back of it. You're going to go about 3/4 inch. You want to have it past about something like that. And we'll do the exact same thing on the other one. Okay, we'll do the exact same thing on the other one. Put it through here like this. Take this, Screw it this way here. You're going to go about 3/4 of an inch, like that. Then you take this, and you squeeze. You squeeze this together. I'm going to do one at a time here. Squeeze it together, just like that. And then you put it in the wall. And then you push it in until you feel the pop on the inside. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on this one here. Squeeze it, put it in here like that, push it in. As you can see, sometimes they're a little tight. Push it in, and now you can see that these are now in place. Now we're not going to tighten those up yet. We're going to take our regular screws that come with it like this, and we're going to put these in first. Okay, next we're going to get our screw in here that we pre-drilled the hole. Remember, we pre-drilled it. We're going to screw it in partially. We're not going to go tight yet. We'll catch this one here. Same thing over here, right there. Okay, it's still loose. We'll bring it in a little tighter on this side. All right. Next we take our level, put it on top of it, and we want to make sure that it's perfectly level. And if you see right there, you'll see it's perfectly level right now. So we're in good shape just the way it is right now. So we're going to tighten up this one, which goes into the stud, and we're going to tighten up the other one here that goes in the stud. And then once we do that, then we'll snug these down. Okay, now that we have the two of them screwed in tight there, next we have to screw these in. But if you just turn these, they don't do anything. So you have to pull the screw towards you to get those expandable wings to pull up against the drywall inside, and then you screw it nice and slow. Make sure you go in the correct direction, because if you go in the wrong direction, it'll actually fall off inside the wall, and it'll be lost. You'll wind up having to make a trip to a big box store to get a replacement. So just pull it towards you and screw it in. Remember, you're screwing clockwise, and it tightens it up, and you'll feel it getting shorter as you're tightening it, just like that. I would recommend this one here. Do not use a power tool. Do it by hand. All right, once we have it caught like that, then we'll just take this one and we'll snug it down with a hand screwdriver, as I said. And that's it, that's done. We'll do the same thing on this one over here. Pull it towards you and then just screw it. And it'll slowly get shorter as you're tightening it up. And then once it's short enough, then you can get in there with a screwdriver and you can snug it down the rest of the way. And now we're almost ready to put the microwave up. I'm gonna pull it towards us and we're going to screw it in. Okay, so now our bracket's on. We made absolutely sure that it's level, which it is. You can see it's perfectly level. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to take two of the bolts that were supplied with the microwave, and we're going to put them through the holes that we drilled up top. Remember, we drilled a 3/8 inch hole. The bolts come through just like that. Same thing on the other side, just like that. And now we're ready to grab our microwave. We're going to come in here. This I'm not going to be able to film it. It's going to take two people to do it. We're going to sit the back edge of the microwave on these hooks right here, and then we're going to push it up, put our electrical outlet through, and then we're going to catch these bolts by hand And then once it's hung, then we'll adjust them to bring it up tighter. And now we have the microwave sitting on the bracket. You can see right up in here where we have the microwave sitting on the edge of the bracket. As I said, it took 2 of us to lift it up, so I couldn't film it. It's sitting on the bracket right now. Next, we came up in the top right up here. We lifted the microwave up, and then the 2 screws that were up in the top that we previously drilled, we caught those screws in there so that they're nice and tight. Now we're going to just snug them down. And of course, we made sure our cable is pulled through and it's not pinched in there. Okay. That's it, our microwave is tight. We're just going to snug these down a little bit more, plug it in, and then we're good to go. So we'll take all the paper off. I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, now let's plug it in and hopefully everything works okay. All right, now we're going to put our shelf back in here later on, of course, but for now, it's just like this. That's it, it's up. We have to reprogram it, of course, to put the time and all that kind of stuff in it, but that's it. We'll take all of the plastic out, we'll remove all of the packing material, and that's it. This job is done, and we're on to the next one. All right, the most important thing I'm going to tell you is when you put that template up underneath the bottom, be extremely careful with that because the template is kind of very temperamental and it tends to kind of moves a little bit. So always make sure that you put it exactly in the right place. By drilling the holes up here, it actually does give you a little bit of play anyway. So just in case it was to move a little bit, a 1/16 of an inch or so, you still can make it up because the bolts do move back and forth in those 3/8 holes that we drilled in there. But that's it. This job is done and we're on to the next one. All right, as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.